I think I'm done with you. I don't wanna be the one to tell me why would you. Tell me why would you. Tell me why would you say you could live right now because I could too. Maybe so should you. You know my way of seeing things is easy. You don't belong in my life. I don't put in work and I'm lazy, shady. I've been falling out of love and you make crazy. I think I'm running out of love. How can you say that with a straight face? Tell me all this shit on the same day. I wonder why things can't go my way. I should've known so in the first place. Tell me the friend I'm on a pitch now. Hit a hit, you don't matter if you're rich now. Sick of you, I think I need a really quick start. Reaching now, stop until I reach a hilltop. Tell me the friend I'm on a pitch now. Hit a hit, you don't matter if you're rich now. Sick of you, I think I need a really quick start. Reaching now, stop until I reach a hilltop. I feel like I can't pull through. Writing our story anew. Lately though I just don't know what to do. I get angry just looking at you.
Back to another video. As you guys saw in the montage, we have the Corrosion shotgun. Yes, Powersurge build. So as you guys can see, my HP damage, everything's a little lower, level 34. That's because in the middle of making this video, I switched servers. I went to a hard mode server. So I managed to get my gears back, so now I can showcase everything. The only thing that's going to be a little bit different is obviously I have low tier stuff on, and then my Cradle is going to be different than what it was before. But for the most part in the video, my stuff matched what was there, and I'll run you guys through that real quick. To start off, obviously, when it comes to the calibration blueprints, I can't show you it, but I went with double crit. That's to start off, and then on my sniper I went double crit as well, because this is going to be a crit build, so you're not going to really have anything with weakness, so you're not going to have that on your sniper. And then when it comes to elements, there's no elements on the bullseye, so I threw crit on the sniper so I could still hit hard, because we're not going to have any weak spot with this build. And then I threw double crit on top of my corrosion shotgun, so I've tested both element and crit on this, and I've tested crit damage as well, but crit comes on top because there's just not enough crit for this build, as it's a PvP build and not a PvE build. So I know people run different things for PvE, and then we're using the 4-piece savior set as usual, so obviously we're going to lose a lot of damage, so we have to make up for that. If we weren't using the 4-piece savior set, we would be using probably the lone wolf set for the crit, but we don't have that because we need to be tanky. So we're using a 4-piece savior, so to compensate what we lose with crit, we're going to be using a crit calibration, and we're going to use fire rate. That should be rapid shot style, should be the name of that. As you can see, I don't have that because new server, no guns, they are gone. Here we go. So this is the gun that I was using, tier 5 right here. As you can see, double crit rate. It was actually pretty nice. And then we had rapid shot style, fire rate. Obviously this is what you want to use, and that goes to show you that that's what I was using in the last server. So back to the build. We're using the gas mask hood. You can go mayfly goggles if you don't have the hood. As you can see right here is the mayfly goggles. Powersurge trigger count +1, Powersurge damage -30%. This is okay, and if you don't have the gas mask, then this is a good placeholder, but you'll be losing a lot of damage, because really the main thing about this build, since it's a shotgun, is doing that big crit damage and crit rate at the same time. This is really more of an elemental thing, so mayfly goggles is really better for the Powersurge SMG, which is the outer space. So if we go here, bam, this one right here, this is what the mayfly goggles is best for. And then when it comes to the gas mask, this is for the shotgun, because it gives you crit rate +35% for 3 seconds. So for the mayfly goggles, and you use the outer space, you want to build elemental damage, and then on the shotgun build, you're gonna want to build up crit rate, some crit damage, and then on top of that, you know, just weapon damage and base stuff like that. You want to level out and even out all your stats. You guys know from the last bullseye video, we like to level out our stats here, especially going for the defensive stats. So that's what we're starting out with. Our key piece, gas mask hood. This is important. You're not going to have a lot of crit, so you got to make up for that crit rate. And then double crit on the corrosion blueprint. That makes up for it. And then on top of that, we have the 4-piece savior set, and then we have the shelter gloves. This is what I was using in the video. I suggest not using this at this point. I've been testing other things, and even for my new build, I'm going to be using this as well. And that is going to be the heavy duty. I have yet to find the blueprint. I think next phase for our server will get me the full thing, but this is what I'm going to go for. I'm going to 5-star this, and then you get max HP plus 10%. This 10% is greater than this status damage reduction. It is more beneficial. Status damage reduction is probably the weakest defensive stat, to be honest, so you don't really want to build that. I just had it just to have it. I was just trying it out. It worked decently. I got this at 2-star, but I think it's time to stop experimenting. It's been long enough, and I could do better. So I'm going to switch over to heavy duty. This is way better. I've had a placeholder of scout gloves. This is at 4 stars, and it's worked me wonders, and it helps my HP a lot. So with this build, actually, with the next build I'm going to be making, I'm making another video, and I'm currently working on a new build because I'm done with this build, so I'm switching over. We're going to be like, you know, you're going to see why I'm using these HP gloves now. Like, I'm switching around the stats, and I found a different way of balancing. And I've talked to some friends that helped me with, like, you know, making my builds and stuff and recommendations. And this is where we're gonna go. So currently with this build, I recommend that over using the shelter gloves. So I would rather equip even the Falcon over this so I could get the 10% HP right here. Or not Falcon, these are scout gloves. My mistake. Anyways, now that we talked about our gears and stuff, I mean melee, you can use whatever melee you want. I use a stun baton usually, but I like messing with the broken bottle. They're pretty cool. Moving on, now we should get into our mods. So for the shotgun, I'm using static shock, Powersurge status damage, status duration minus 50%, and Powersurge damage plus 20%. This is a must-have. This is what you're gonna use. And then we went crit damage, max HP, weapon damage. The best stats you're gonna want to go for is crit damage. You want that golden, and then you're gonna want weapon damage on top of that at the bottom, and then weapon damage reduction. Max HP is decent. If you get crit damage, max HP, and then weapon damage reduction, that's really good too. But this is really the ideal thing: is crit damage, weapon damage reduction, and then weapon damage. And there is a chance that you can get something besides, like, you know, a PvE stat. Everybody thinks that, like, you're guaranteed to get PvE stats on this. No, you can get like 4 things. Like, you can get a weapon damage reduction, weapon damage, I think max HP, and then you know, one of these like crit damage or elements or blah blah blah, something like that. But there is a chance to get like 4 stuff that doesn't involve like normal enemies or elites and blah blah blah, stuff like that. But it's very rare. For my sniper, I went with vulnerability, so when I use the sniper, you know, we will hit harder, and then in PvE, we will hit harder. If you're gonna run strictly this Powersurge build, don't get the weak spot, by the way, because it's gonna be useless. You're not gonna have weak spot on this build. We have our gas mask hood. What we have on it is Fateful Strike, cannot deal weak spot damage. So that's why we don't build weak spot on this. It's because we don't deal weak spot damage now because of this mod. Crit rate plus 10% and crit damage plus 30%. The important part is the crit damage, but we get an extra crit rate, which is just a bonus. We need as much crit rate as possible since we're not using the Lone Wolf set. As you can see here, bam. First, electrocution. This is what we're gonna want. For enemies without Powersurge status, Powersurge ultimate damage plus 30%. So when you're shooting your shotgun and you trigger the Powersurge, obviously the damage is gonna be greater. And the thing about this shotgun is that you can crit with your Powersurge on this shotgun. So the more damage you do, that higher crit will be, because, you know, the crit is something that multiplies after your damage. So the damage is the base thing. So this is nice to have, the plus 30%. And then we got element on here. We got status damage and weapon damage reduction. Okay. All right, moving on, we have the resist advantage. Just makes you tanky, obviously, and then you get 10% damage reduction every 5 seconds. This is basically the best mod for any build. You're probably just gonna want to use this mod. Weapon damage reduction, I didn't really get good rolls on this, but an alternative that you can use is life force boost to get more HP, 12%. I have element on here and max HP plus 3.6% as my substats. Those are decent. These life force HP boosts are really hard to get. They're pretty rare, so good luck finding a decent one with decent stats. I'm actually pretty happy with those 2 stats, but, you know, it could be better. And then this is most definitely better, but you can choose between the 2, whatever you want to do. Each crit by non-melee weapons grants plus 5% crit damage up to 45%. This is a lot of crit damage. Important. Crit damage is important. You are using shotgun. Crit damage 15%, status damage reduction 3.6. That sucks. Max HP 2.4. It's okay. I could have gotten better, but, you know, gold crit damage, whatever. I was just making the build, and, you know, it worked out when I got this, so I just settled with it. Alright, crit amplifier, crit rate plus 10%, crit damage plus 15%, and then I have crit damage right here. I have weapon damage reduction, and then 2 PvE stuff, not that good. But, you know, I got some of the stuff that I wanted, and it worked out. So the crit rate is important again, and the crit damage is a must-have. And then on the boots, lastly, we have Covered Advance, taking no damage for 4 seconds, grants plus 20% melee weapon and status damage for 30 seconds. The important parts is weapon and status damage. That's what you need, and that is important. So as long as you don't get shot for 4 seconds, you get that effect, and it resets every 30 seconds. So every 30 seconds, you just gotta make sure you don't get shot for 4 seconds, and then bam, you have 20% more on status and your weapon. And then on here we got element, weapon damage reduction, max HP. Pretty nice roll. The colors are a little bit off, but you know, it is what it is. We gotta work with it. But that's pretty that's pretty much it for the mods, guys. You know, pretty simple. Like I said, just balance your stuff. Don't match exactly what I do. Just use that as a general idea and guide to what you should be going for, and get better stuff to me, hopefully, because you know, you can do more damage. You saw the damage that I was doing and how easily I was killing people, and then my damage to the dummy. You can do beyond what I was doing, because I kind of rushed this out. And I really just worked with people, like, you know, like Doomers, for example. I talked to him a lot about it, and he was making a build. He has his own video where he goes in depths and he does like the mathematics with it. He has a calculator and everything. I'm not gonna do all that, dude. I don't got time for that. I'm just joking. I have time for it. I'm just not that interested in like plugging in the maths, you know. I know how it works, and I'm trying to explain to you guys how it works really and what is important. But if you really want to see the breakdowns and the stats and everything, I suggest watching his video on that, and he'll show you step by step the formulas and all that. And then in the description, I'm gonna put a link towards like a spreadsheet that he has of different builds that he uses, and it'll link all his videos of those different builds. I suggest all of them, because man, oh man, he puts a lot of time into those videos, and those videos are pretty long with all the math he does. So next is our Cradle. My Cradle is different, okay? So in the other server, I would have had this after hitting a weak spot status damage. I would take off this basically, and I'd have the healing that I'm missing, and then one of these slots would be filled in with this one with the weak spot. So 2 more things is what I'm missing since I'm in a different server, and it's probably something with Powersurge right here, or something right here with Powersurge. And there should be only 1 of each, I'm pretty sure. So you guys should probably be able to figure that out. I'm sorry guys, I moved servers. I didn't expect to, like, you know, take so long with the video. Like I got busy, and so I didn't really get it out when I wanted to. I was supposed to release it even before Doomer did, or maybe like around the same time, maybe a day after or so, or something like that. But it's been like a week or 2, so I'm a little late. But yeah, this is pretty much it. That's the build. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, check out the description for the links, and join the Discord. That way you're always in contact with me if you need help with anything builds wise. And we have people always in there in the VCs that can help you. And if you just want to game and spend time with people who are a community and just want to have fun, feel free to join. Alright, hope you guys have a good day. Thank you. Bye bye.